steadfast in thy word. Curve those who...
The Lord be with you. Welcome to the next episode in our 316 study. Today we're going to cover two more books. Chronicles, 316s. The material is not the most important, but it is material that deserves a little attention. And perhaps in our study today, it'll be maybe a little bit more of an overview of some of these historical books. Put the word chronicler on our board because he's the author. Who's that? Well, that's about as much as we know. We don't know who gives us 1st and 2nd Chronicles, so we just call him the chronicler. Chronicles is in line with Samuel and Kings. These 6 books form a mini unit within the Old Testament. There's a lot of history to be covered, and these books do a pretty good job of covering a large chunk of that history. They share some things in common, but they also have some divergences. With Chronicles, there are a lot of assumptions. The chronicler thinks that you should know what came before his books. Well, for some people that's probably true, and for some people that's probably not true. Some stories are assumed. As we move into 1 Chronicles 3:16, and throughout the book, but primarily in 1 Chronicles chapter 3, we find a genealogy of David, or the descendants of David, David's family tree. Genealogies are highly valued, and within 1st and 2nd Chronicles, it's especially the genealogy of David. Now, I'll make an assumption and believe that you know why. And if you don't, it's because our Lord Jesus was the son of David. David, going forwards and backwards, whichever way you want to go, is in a good line. David tracing his ancestry all the way back to Adam, and David going forward to Joseph and Mary and Jesus. So maybe David is sort of the hinge. When we went through Ruth a few episodes ago, Ruth, the Moabite woman, the foreigner, God brings into the lineage of Jesus. Ruth, married to Boaz, their child Obed, Obed's child Jesse the father of David. So God values family, genealogy. Second Chronicles is the building of the temple. I guess maybe before we look at that one, this is 1 Chronicles 3:16. The descendants of Jehoiakim, Jeconiah his son, Zedekiah his son. That's it. But 1 Chronicles 3:1, these are the sons of David who were born to him in Hebron. And then it goes on to list them all. And then his grandchildren and great-grandchildren and all of those sorts of things. So 1 Chronicles 3 is just the descendants of David. 2 Chronicles 3 is where Solomon builds the temple. He, that would be Solomon, and really probably Solomon telling his builders what to do. He made chains like a necklace and put them on the tops of the pillars, and he made 100 pomegranates and put them on the chains. 2 Chronicles 3 gives us a lot of detail of Solomon building the temple, and maybe this is something that we remember. It was David's desire to build a house for the Lord, right? The Ark of the Covenant was carried from place to place. There was a tent that was erected, and the Ark would be put in there and protected, and the people knew this was where God was, the Ark of the Covenant, with the Ten Commandments inside, some manna inside, the golden cherubim on top of the ark. David wanted to build a temple, a building, a house for the Lord. And the Lord told him, no, I've never had a house before. What do I need a house to live in? Besides, open your eyes and you can see my house. The earth is mine. So David never accomplished his goal, or the Lord never allowed him to accomplish his goal. It was given to Solomon to build the temple. 2 Chronicles gives us great detail of how it all happened. It can be tricky to listen to because it uses words we don't talk about very much, especially measurements. I'm specifically talking about a cubit. This pillar was 100 cubits long. Its circumference was 8 cubits, whatever. What's a cubit? Well, we do know that a cubit is roughly 18 inches. So here, I took some time and measured things out. Our nave, the seating area in our sanctuary, 317 inches wide, 525 inches long, or 17.6 cubits wide, 29.1 cubits long. So when the fire marshal comes and asks us the dimensions, well, it's 17 by 29 cubits. And then we'll probably get fined or something like that. So anyway, Solomon builds the temple. There is a place for God. And I think what we might want to say about that is God does allow things to happen. I don't think his view changed. It's not that Solomon said, Lord, look at the architectural plans, and God said, whoa, I never thought of that. That's amazing. Yes, build me a house. The Lord allows things to be done. I don't think the Lord was angry that David wanted to build him a temple. The Lord loved David. And we can't say that the Lord loved Solomon more. But the Lord allowed Solomon to build that temple. And it became a great place. The people would go, give their offerings, hear the scrolls read aloud into their ears, offer their praises. The ritual life of God's people had a place to happen and take place. So the books of Chronicles, gifts to us, wonderful stories, good history, the evidence of God dwelling with his people. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next episode. Bye-bye.